Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, which brightened up quite nicely and right along schedule as far as our forecast 24 hours ago. We expected to see some gradually clearing skies, and man, it even warmed up pretty nicely towards the end. If you've been inside like myself and for a couple of hours and then went out a little later in the afternoon, big change, significant and welcome change, mind you. And boy, do we have clear sailing in your forecast. I haven't said that in forever. We haven't had a forecast like this in what feels like forever as well. It's just clear sailing, nice. We will be glad to update you on your weather forecast, with the exception of having to relay that there is a frost advisory in effect from 2 in the a.m. to about 9 tomorrow morning. Low temperatures tonight in the upper 20s, low 30s in the valleys, and in the low to mid 30s on the ridges. Impacts are that frost will possibly and more than likely across much of the area develop, especially in the coldest sheltered valleys, so keep that in mind. Looking on further down the line, widespread frost will linger into early Wednesday morning, but after that, it's gorgeous. It's going to be gorgeous. Glad to tell you about it in more detail in just a moment. Tonight's headlines will include taking a look back at 70 years for the Sagersville Fire Department. 70 years ago today, they commandeered their first truck to fight fires and serve the city of Sagersville and their coverage area as well. It was a nice morning and afternoon spent down there. I have a camera coming in from the McGoffin County Public Library Board meeting. We'll have that for you tomorrow. I'll also touch on another report that we'll have for you tomorrow, as I was trying to cover 3 bases at one time with a little bit of help. But we'll have all of those reports and some updates and some sad news to pass along tonight as well in what's all left of the half hour. We do know that the Kentucky State Police, in our just about only regional report, maybe one other or two, are investigating a fatal collision that happened in Martin County yesterday afternoon. We know that the preliminary data indicates that 76-year-old Donald Sesko, who was from Inez, was traveling west. He was doing so on Kentucky Route 40 in Inez when his vehicle crossed into the eastbound lane. And when it did, it collided with another vehicle being driven by Janie Carter. Sesko was taken from the scene by Netcare EMS to the Highlands Regional Medical Center and was said to have suffered fatal injuries in the collision and pronounced dead at that facility. Evidence at the scene says that Sesko was not wearing his seatbelt at the time of the collision, which is still under investigation by Post 9 reconstructionist Detective Jason Merlo. West Liberty PD are seeking a little help trying to identify this man. Few details about the theft, but he is accused of a theft nonetheless of a residence in West Liberty in Morgan County, and they're hoping that you can help identify him. And they've got a pretty clear surveillance photo of him caught in the act. They also believe the same individual may be responsible for other crimes, possibly a theft at the telephone company warehouse in the Morgan County area. But West Liberty PD, in the press release they've sent to us, say that they're asking for your help in trying to identify this man, wanted in connection with a recent theft of a home in West Liberty and Morgan County. The victim was caught on surveillance video on several different occasions, and this was the clearest and sharpest image that we have. If you have any idea as to his whereabouts, he's also wearing a very distinctive shirt there. But if you have any information, you can contact the West Liberty Police Department at 743-4385. It's all the details we have to go on at this hour in regards to the theft and the individual. But right now we're hoping that the public will see something that they can shed some light on the case with and call authorities in West Liberty. Once again, 743-4385. In other news from around the area, it appears as though Eric C. Conn will get out of jail and get to go home, should he desire to do so, to the same home that he had to put up for collateral in regards to posting a bond today to the estimate of $1.25 million. And there were also some other stipulations with him being able to remain free pending his trial. It was a move that was anticipated after court records yesterday indicated the stipulations were being given as to his potential release. But he was to be released today from jail after posting a $1.25 million bond. Of course, after being indicted and arraigned on federal charges last week in, I believe, an 18-count indictment against him. Now, there are some guidelines that he must follow. He cannot leave the eastern Kentucky area. Specifically, the counties included in the Eastern District of Kentucky federal court map, which of course confines him to a specific zone, and he is also ordered to no longer participate, at least at this time, in any litigation of any disability cases. And then, as I said earlier, he had to put up his home for the bond, to cover the bond, for and $1.25 million in the case, but he was allowed free to go pending his next hearing. I've got more local headlines, and sadly the passing of a young man that had delighted so many with his smile and personality, and it was that smile and personality that also caught Coach Calipari's attention as well. We'll have that and local headlines, beginning with 70 years of Sayersville Fire Department service after this. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. This is one of those hard parts of the job. It's so hard to take a story, an event that might be hours, days, years long, and condense it into a few moments. The good news is I get to spend as much time as I want on my reports, and that includes tonight's story, as we'll try to condense 70 years of history of the Sayersville Fire Department into the next segment. It was a beautiful day today in front of and at the Sayersville Fire Department. We got to take a tour of the facility. We got to go back and get a little history lesson as well, not just about the first chief, or most, of course, recently the last, and current, but also about how it all began. And how it actually began was actually unknown, I think, to most everyone in the community, that it was actually a local civic organization that was largely responsible for seeing the Sayersville Fire Department become a reality. It's also a reality that a lot of hard work has gone into the department since to see it as it stands today. From the Sayersville Fire Department's very first piece of equipment, a $5,500 fire truck purchased new exactly 70 years ago today, to the men and other equipment that has served the city over the course of the years. Here a picture 30 years later, and now 40 years after that. There was a whole lot of pride today within the Sayersville Fire Department, and those who came out to thank them and wish them well for their service and congratulate them on a job well done.
I'm going to brag a lot about it. Fire department's worked hard. Paul Howard, the fire chief, has put a lot of legwork in trying to get equipment and getting the City of Sayersville Fire Department where it needs to be, and I finally think that we're there. We're there. After 2.5 years in office, I think we're where I think we should be as a fire department. We started out when I took office with one fire truck, and we had the hazmat truck, and now we've added 3 vehicles to our fire department, and our latest, this ladder truck here, which is a great addition to the fire department. But it's been I think the department, Paul's really took a lot of pride. I think people are taking more pride in the fire department, the volunteers that are working there, because they do see the administration and the council that's really put forth the effort and put forth funds for them to get what they really need to be a top-notch fire department.
And there was certainly a lot of time spent reminiscing earlier today and a look back at a lot of memorabilia and historical artifacts and photographs about a lot of faces that have been a part of the department over the years, a lot of fires that the department has seen as well. The old 7-Eleven, which I can recall, and that's telling my age just a bit, but the 7-Eleven there at the junction of Parkway Drive and Route 7, where the McGoffin County Rescue Squad building now stands. The Rice's truck stop fire. Pictures that no longer exist or can't be found, but they are still looking for. The McGoffin County High School fire, that one too within my recollection back in the mid-'80s. But the old courthouse fire, the big fire downtown, which we do have a photograph, the brutally cold weather that they were in to fight the fire that claimed several buildings in the downtown area, one of the largest fires in Sayersville. All part of its history. One part of its history, though, that we have learned, says Fire Chief Paul Howard, is how the department actually was formed. It wasn't just the city of Sayersville, but it was a local civic organization, as well as some residents, which all came together with the idea and the support, monetarily and otherwise, to get the Sayersville Fire Department off its feet, or on its feet, to get the Sayersville Fire Department on its feet for the first time.
My name is Whitney Literal, and I am president of the Kiwanis Club in Sayersville. And Kiwanis is honored to be here today to celebrate this monumental event of 70 years. We truly appreciate everything the fire department is doing and has done, and we wanted to present Chief Howard with this plaque. Okay. Thank you for all your service.
Thank you.
Well, tell me about when we learned the connection with the Kiwanis and Sayersville Fire Department.
On my patches that on my coat says we established in 1946, and so I started doing some research and went to the Historical Society and discovered that the fire department started and initially was in February of 1946. The Kiwanis Club and the city officials got together and decided to start a fire department, and all the merchants and residents ended up putting in a donation to buy the first fire truck. By April the 12th, they had enough money to buy the fire truck, so they started a fire department. The first truck was a 1946 Chevrolet, and it cost $5,500 at that time.
Now for their coverage area, which is much larger than just the city limits of Sagersville. The city fire department has to the far right their newest truck purchase, which they still have a $10,000 a year payment on for the next few years. The truck in the middle has been paid for, and the truck to the far left is the new ladder truck, which we did a feature on recently, a $1 million truck and then some. When new, they were able to purchase refurbished for $25,000, and that included nearly $15,000 in life-saving fire and rescue equipment. And like a similar truck, which is not shown because it was out on an emergency call during the time that we were there, it was purchased by funds raised by the volunteers.
I can't commend them enough. They have bass tournaments, they have horse shows, it's just constantly making money to help, and every bit goes right back into the fire department, where it's equipment, training, and everything that a great fire department has to have to be a good fire department. And I think right now we're we seen at one time with 911, after that, all the county fire departments got all this new equipment, and a lot of times we didn't really qualify over some of the things, but now we're right up to par with everybody now, and I'm proud of it, and proud of Paul, and proud of the volunteer and our salary fire department. People think we're just a volunteer fire department, but we have 4 people full-time on the fire department that staff the fire department 24/7.
And all the equipment in the world would be useless without men and women to operate it and to serve. And for some, the calling to serve runs in the family, or it's a drive to serve their community in some level.
I've been around the fire department since I was a child. My dad was on the fire department. I basically based my whole life on serving the public. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love this job. Been around it since I was about 3 years old to now. We have the newest equipment I've ever seen in Sayersville. We have an aerial truck now. It's amazing how it's grown. I hope that they're proud of it. That's what we do it for. We're out here for the public. Protect and serve, that's basically what we're here for. We just hope we can make them proud. That's a lot of what keeps us going.
And all of this is built on a history as of today, 70 years in the making.
First fire chief was Claude Patrick. That's something that I wasn't aware of. The Historical Society provided me with a picture of his beginning until he finished. And then I did research on all the fire chiefs from the beginning to the present time. Tried to get their dates, but I haven't got the dates down yet, but I do know all the chiefs that was involved there. Myself and Harry Puckett been fire chiefs 3 separate times. We as the fire department has worked hard to get our organization to where it's at today. We've got it down to an ISO rating of 4, Insurance Service Office rating is 4, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. We've got it down to 4, but like I said, it's these guys that works for me. It's just me. Working by myself don't make anything. It's a team. All of us has to work together. And I have a real great group of guys and gals, and everybody works hard on our projects. But we really want to thank the merchants that helps us, and they're more than welcome anybody to come out and see our equipment, see where we spend our money at. These things are not cheap. This truck today, if you bought it brand new, would cost $1 million. Yeah, it's a used truck. We don't have $1 million, but it serves our purpose, a small community that needs something.
And the fire department has proven that if you ever need something, they always are there, standing at the ready. It's an interesting time to go down and spend a little time at the fire department, especially now that they have dug up all these photographs, a bunch of which we still have to go through, and I suspect we'll make for another story at another time. I'll be right back. More headlines to come, and I have a full week slated already for the remainder of this week. Right now, some updates on your MAGOFFIN Farm Bureau community calendar. First off, North MAGOFFIN Elementary Site-Based Council will meet in regular session tomorrow, 4:30 in the school's conference room. Everyone is welcome to attend. And also, a fundraiser coming up of sorts, and I'm trying to find the date. It's for this Saturday, mind you, when the hot dog wagon will be in Sagersville. It's going to be a car wash, the hot dog wagon, and a bake sale, with all proceeds going to benefit the Children's Miracle Network. They will be in front of the Sagersville Rite Aid, and that is once again this Saturday from 11 till 2, and all proceeds of which will be going to, once again, the Children's Miracle Network. Here's the rest of the announcements for this evening, followed by recent obituaries. We'll start with revival starting this Sunday night at 6 at Bradley Free Will Baptist, preaching by James Kelly Cottle. Bradley Free Will Baptist Church is located on Burning Fork Road with Pastor Randy Haney, and they all welcome you to revival Sunday night at 6 and then nightly thereafter next week at 7 p.m. The McGoffin County School Summer Feeding Program needs your assistance. They'll prepare the meals. They need a place for them to be served, and that's about all it takes. So if you have any information, if you have any means of helping them feed our students throughout the summer months, you can call Food Service Director Andrew Oliver, 349-8215. That applies to churches, organizations, anyone with a location throughout the entire county. Let's Go Fishing, the second annual fishing tournament hosted by the Sagersville Fire Department. It's got a few days before it gets here, not until May the 14th. Be here before you know it. So mark it down in your calendar now. It's a $100 per boat entry. They guarantee a $1,000 payout, and they have a big fish prize. They have a lot of other prizes as well. You'll want to be there. They always have a good time. May the 14th, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And a workshop at our McGoffin County Extension Office. 2 days. The 21st begins at noon, and they'll have how-tos of raised bed gardens and how to build and construct your own raised garden bed. And on the 22nd, which is that Friday, how to get the most out of your small garden will be the topic of discussion. Next series of workshops at your McGoffin County Extension Service. That's once again next Thursday and next Friday. And if you've got a calendar announcement like these, or a birthday or anniversary, this is how you tell us so we can tell everyone else about them. Tonight's obituaries begin with a few reminders about services to be held tomorrow in honor of 40-year-old Wilma Vanetta Gibson Keaton. Services to be held at the Licking River Church tomorrow. Visitation continues this evening. Services begin tomorrow morning at 11 in honor of 41-year-old Wilma Keaton. Services are also going to take place tomorrow for 50-year-old, Deborah Elaine Salyer Arnott, Debbie Arnott of New Painesville Road, who will be laid to rest tomorrow. Services begin at 1 with visitation continuing this evening, all at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Burial will follow tomorrow at the Warney Bailey Cemetery at Bee Tree. 83-year-old Merlene Gullett Isaac passed away on yesterday's date, survived by her husband Wade. She is also survived by sons Marcus, Billy Joe, Wade Jr., Keen Isaac, Matthew Isaac, Adam Isaac, also daughters Judy Williams and Sheila Prater. Funeral services are going to be held this Friday morning at 11 at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. 59-year-old Samuel Conley of Sagersville, specifically Old Lick Creek Road, passed away yesterday. The son of the late Raymond and Ruby Adams Conley is also preceded in death by daughter Brandy J. Rowe. Services are going to be this Friday at 1 o'clock at the Sagersville Funeral Home. Burial will follow at the Conley Cemetery on 40. The family will welcome friends at the Sagersville Funeral Home tomorrow after 2 and any time prior to Friday's services, once again slated for 1 o'clock. Alkie Faye Tackett Swihart, 77, of the right-hand fork of Horsepen here in Sagersville, passed away on Sunday. The daughter of the late Levi and Annie Conley Tackett, also preceding her in death, was a husband, Richard. Funeral services are incomplete at this time, but to be announced soon by the Sagersville Funeral Home. Last story, this segment is an announcement of the passing of a young man whose infectious smile and personality lit up the lives of all who knew him and who were around him, especially those in the McGoffin County area, of which he lived for quite some time, and really only until recently for most of his life when his family moved to Texas. He was also a young man who garnered national attention by being one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Big Blue fan. Born in MAGOFFFIN County, Seth Barnett moved to Texas with his family soon thereafter, but would return, and I think spent quite a bit of time, maybe even in his elementary and middle school years here in the MAGOFFFIN County area. I am for certain that he spent his freshman and sophomore year at the MAGOFFFIN County High School, where he will be forever remembered. But outside of this area, he became known to the Big Blue Nation and that of the rest of the United States as being Kentucky's #1 fan. When a chance meeting with Coach John Calipari at the behest of one of Seth's classmates changed his life forever, and I would imagine that of his family as well. What was to be a normal recruiting visit for Coach Cal made the night of a lifetime visit for UK #1 fan, Seth Barnett. Seth was classmates at Cypress Lake High School in Texas with De'Aaron Fox, who was on the list for a recruiting visit from Coach Cal and some staff. And Mr. Fox asked that Seth join them at his house for that visit. Immediately taken with Seth, as most everyone was, Coach Calipari remembered him fondly, tweeted about him earlier today in a couple of comments. This after the passing of the 17-year-old who passed away yesterday, we are told, at the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, the son of Michael and Betty Carol Barnett. Betty Carol telling me that they will be bringing Seth home while funeral arrangements are still being made in his honor at the MAGOFFFIN County Funeral Home. In his tweets today, Coach Cal referred to his passion and love of Kentucky basketball and how saddened he was to hear of the passing of young Seth. Once again, arrangements still being made at this hour at the MAGOFFFIN County Funeral Home. We'll be passing those along to you just as soon as they are made. With that, one more order of business for this evening, with once again a full slate for tomorrow's program. We hope that you'll join us then. But tonight we'll wrap it up with your Licking Valley RECC forecast, where I'm so pleased to bring you some improvements. And once again, this is a late night for myself here in the studio, and it's it's coming up on the 11 o'clock hour at the time this program was retaped, if you will. And I've got 42 degrees and falling, and winds have finally subsided down to 0 at the time being, and they'll continue to stay that way for days. Check it out, 35 for your nighttime low, and I can sum up your forecast with very few words and numbers from here on out, and that's always a good sign. Most always a good sign. Tomorrow, 65 and sunny with a nighttime low of 39 degrees under mostly clear skies. We'll continue to climb the improvement ladder thereafter. 69 and 43 on Thursday, sunny and mostly clear. And there you are, before the end of the weekend, which is still pretty far away, mind you. We'll be pushing the 80-degree mark. I expect these numbers to inch up as the week progresses for daytime highs. 68, 69, 76, an estimate right now that I expect to change. Regardless, nighttime lows in the low to upper 40s with sunny, clear skies across the board. For Tuesday, as I said, MAGOFFFIN County Public Library meeting coverage. Also, meetings from Johnson County, the Fiscal Court, and Paintsville City Council are on their way to the studio, as well as the underage drinking forum, and a host of other things that I have to get busy on at this hour. So we'll have it ready when we see you back here next time. For now, enjoy your beautiful Tuesday evening, and get ready for some more beautiful evenings just like this, and perhaps, well, not perhaps, but definitely even better over the next several days, thanks to good old Mother Nature. Thanks for watching, and have a good night.